Yeah, thank you, James. So, everyone, I'm Evan Fisher with the Carolina Weather Group. We've got Sid Sperry here with us. Sid is a good friend of the show, known him for a few years now, and he is an expert in all things ice and power. Now, he may be out in Oklahoma, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have some good insights to give us here in the Carolinas. Sid, one thing that's been going through my mind as we've been chatting with Brad Panovich and Christian Morgan, amongst others, is the wind that's going to kick up tomorrow morning. Um, we've talked about how wind can blow trees over, obviously weighted trees to ice. But I remember when you were last on the show, you talked about galloping in power lines with ice on them. Can you expand on that a little bit and how that could be an issue?
Sure, Evan. Wind is a critical part of the index, the SPIA index that we put together many years ago. The thing that folks don't realize about wind and power lines is when you have wind, and by the way, we only use sustained winds in the index. We do not use wind gusts. So the forecasts are for what we look at are the sustained wind speeds, because when you have that continuous airflow over a conductor, as that conductor builds up mass, as the ice begins to accrete on the conductor, the airflow over that conductor is just like an airplane taking off. The conductor will begin to rise and fall. So for what we would call a three-phase line, where you have actually four conductors there, it's not uniform. It's not in harmony with each other. So eventually you get this rise and fall, if you will, of the conductors, and it causes an imbalance. So it's not always the weight, if you will, of the ice that is a concern. It is the galloping that can occur, because with power line structures, there are typically cross arms on a pole. And once that galloping starts, it puts a twist to that whole upper structure, upper part of the pole that may have the cross arms on it. And eventually, over a matter of minutes, that cross arm bolt will break and the whole thing just falls to the ground. So in big ice storms where there's a lot of accumulation, we've seen pictures before. I know I've shared the last time I was on of 2.5-inch radial, which is roughly 5 inches of ice on a line. There you see a picture, but that's not going to gallop too much right there. It's just pure weight. But in other situations where you may not have quite as much ice, but you have enough surface area that begins to catch the wind, you'll get that galloping, and it can cause a lot of damage too.